This conference will now be recorded. This conference will now be recorded.
Is
it recording?
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. All right. Is the red dot on up at the top?
No, I can't see.
Upper
Yeah,
right corner.
okay, cool. You're live.
Okay, great. Good evening. It's the Cottage Grove Joint Fire District Commission meeting. Today is Monday, April 28th. It is 6:30 PM. Call the meeting to order. We do have a quorum and the agenda was properly posted.
Yes.
We can move, thank you, to item 3, public appearances, public's opportunity to speak about any subject that is not a specific agenda item. Do we have
Nobody online?
no one online? Anyone in the room on something that is not on the agenda? Hearing none, I'll move to item 4, election of officers.
I move we appoint Steve Anders as the chair.
And I would second that motion.
Okay.
Any further
You want-
discussion?
Do you want to do all the positions or just do each one individually? Because there's chair, vice, and secretary. So you
Sure,
guys would get the
Vice chair.
vice and the secretary for next year.
Okay. I'm okay if we consider all at once.
And there's two of you here.
And there.
So in other words, Peter.
So what do you
Ball
think?
is the secretary.
No wonder he didn't show up.
So that's what I was just gonna say is Peter gonna remain on here, do you know, or?
Our list is here.
I think so.
Joint Cottage Grove Fire, yes. Unless this is until there's a 7th board member appointed. So we only have 6 village board
Right.
members currently. So the 7th, if appointed, would then take over. There's 2 asterisks. So Peter would fill in until that time.
So maybe you don't want to put, sorry, ladies, but Peter has
Yeah.
a position potentially seeing he's not gonna be on here.
Sure.
So
So then it's a coin flip. Who wants to be secretary or vice chair?
I'll take secretary.
All right.
Well, that would be. I guess you're the vice chair.
All right. I'll be happy to chair meetings if in your absence.
okay,
I'll second that motion.
All right. So we have Steve Anders chair, Heidi Murphy vice chair, and Renee is now a secretary. Motion and second. Any further discussion? Having heard none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carries. Excellent. Then we can move to item 5, discuss and consider the minutes from the March 24th, 2025 meeting. Any comments or edits to the minutes as presented?
I'll move approval of the meeting minutes as presented.
I'll second it.
Motion and second to approve the minutes as presented. Any further discussion?
I abstained because I wasn't here in March.
Also, me too. I'll abstain too.
So it's
I'll
just
do the same.
us two.
So I'll,
Well,
can we, it
but
can,
no, I don't think we can because you gotta have 3.
well, we
Well,
don't,
you do have 3.
it's not required to abstain. Is that?
Well, we
I
have
don't know.
1, 2, 3. That's all.
Neither of
I wasn't here
those
either.
guys were here.
Oh, neither one of you were here.
Mhm.
Oh. No, I wasn't here either. So we can take
We
the
could
notes,
just table it.
table it till
We're-
next meeting.
We were the one,
So,
I don't know. I'm fine with it.
yeah, I mean, because we were the only ones. That's weird. Was Peter here last month?
Nope.
No.
Nope.
Oh,
It
geez.
should be,
Huh?
You're not required to abstain.
right, we're not required to abstain.
Correct. So if
Uh,
somebody wants to not abstain, we could get the minutes approved.
Sure. I'll vote in
Way to
favor.
be, way to be controversial.
So all those in favor of approval of the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And 2 abstentions.
Aye.
That motion carries. All right, then we'll move on to item 6, the chief's report.
All right, we're sitting at 40 staff. That consists of 11 officers, 3 driver operators, 24 firefighters, and 2 probationary members. When this was written, we were at 108 calls. We've had a few since then. That averages out to 0.96 calls per day, which would finish at 349 for the year, if that stays at that pace. Breakdown of the calls: 9 mutual aid, 48 in the village, 16 in Pleasant Springs, and 35 in the town. A couple different charts for you guys to look at, just breaking down the data. I had nothing for apparatus info, but actually ladder 1 got its new tires. We replace the apparatus tires every 7 years for NFPA, so that just got done. Should be the last time that has to be done before the new truck comes. Annual fire hose testing is going to be done on May 22nd. We have an outside company that comes in and does all of it. They usually get it all done in one day. Training for April was emergency vehicle operations, scene size ups, and seating assignments. 5 CGFD members out of 62 were selected to participate in the advanced ASIM training that was hosted at Taylor Prairie. Or was it Taylor Prairie? Glacial Drum. Out of the Dane County Emergency Management School. May training will be residential fire responses and municipal water supply. 4 peer support members will participate in the advanced peer support training course geared towards providers who've already attended and completed the basic 3-day CISD course or critical incident stress debriefing. The department recruited 1 new member in April. Staff milestones are Patrick Buckles with 1 year, Dawson Kovalewski with 3, Ryan Greendeer with 4, Trinity Lacer with 1 year, Michael Lundeen with 2 years, Jess Robinson with 15 years, and Eric Severson with 29 years. And that's a current roster down at the bottom.
That it?
Yep.
I get a question. When you talk about the calls,
Sure.
good intent call and false alarm call, do you have to send an ambulance fire truck to those?
So the good intent is like somebody's driving by, they think they see a call, but it's really not. Like the most common one for that is like somebody calls in a vehicle fire on the interstate and it's really just a car overheating. By the time we get there, the car's gone. We don't do anything. We don't actually.
But you have to go to that one.
We have to go because we're called false alarms. Those are pretty common for all the municipalities, and that's the big one for us right now. Is like the ADT systems. Like more and more people are installing like an ADT system in their house. Then they're cooking, they accidentally set it off. They don't answer the phone, and then we get dispatched. So then we show up. They don't even know we're coming. Knock on the door, and they're like, "Oh, we just burnt food," and then there's a false alarm, so we classify it. So get a lot of those. We used to get a lot of false alarms with the apartment complexes, but that got kind of straightened out with the new ordinance. So that's declined. It's more like residential ones now.
So what do you have to send out for those 2 categories? You have to send you have somebody go there immediately to see if there's
So
actually
with all
something
these,
going on?
with all these, we're running a duty chief out of, or like a duty officer out of the car
Yeah,
right now,
right.
which is volunteer. So the car goes to pretty much every call that we get for the most part, with a few exceptions if one of us is working when that came in. So the car goes, and then depending on which municipality it is, either the engine or the ladder will go. If it's in the towns, it'll be an engine. If it's in the village, it'll be the ladder. So those 2 trucks respond. Sometimes depending on where it is, if the car gets going fast enough, like they get there before the other truck rolls, and then they can cancel the bigger truck. So
I guess building on that, do you find that it's different residents all the time, or is there like a recurring?
Yeah, it's never been the same resident twice. So it's like, they kind of educate them and then they do it again, I guess.
Is that part of a greater education campaign that we can help educate residents about the impact?
Yeah, I think like during the October Fire Prevention Week, we usually try to put out some stuff about it. And then if we start seeing an uptick in them, we kind of put out a reminder on our Facebook. But I think when we do that, maybe in the future, we could reach out to the municipalities. Then you guys could do some stuff on your page too to share it, because you got a little bit more bandwidth than us sometimes. So
Yeah, the more people we can reach on that. And then we do have a monthly village e-newsletter now, so that might be something
Sure.
interesting to put in there too.
Okay.
Other questions on Chief's report?
Do you want to give them the update that we started to on the garage doors? Last month, we approved to replace all of the openers in the garage doors because a couple of them have been problematic and others haven't been a problem, but they're just 25 years old. And so I'll turn it back over to the chief.
Yeah, so they started the project Friday. It didn't go very well. The contractor didn't call us before they came, so they just showed up unannounced. They worked on the doors all day. They got to the end of the day, they couldn't figure out two of the doors. They left without telling us, so the trucks were sitting outside while we were waiting for them to call us and tell us they were done. And then all the doors were closed when we got there, so we opened the doors to bring the trucks back in, and one of the openers didn't close anymore. So it opened to get the truck back in, but then it didn't close to secure the building. So not very well communicated. I think going forward, talking with Chief Lang, we used a different vendor to do the garage door opener over engine 3 last time. And this is a different vendor who did all the rest of them, and I think the first door opener went really well. Well organized, they communicated well, everything got taken care of, we had no issues. But this one didn't go very well, so I think going forward, we'd probably use the first vendor for any garage door service we gotta
Who
do.
was the last one? I forget.
The one we just used was overhead door. I can't remember the name of the first
They were
one.
cheaper, a lot cheaper.
Yeah. They were cheaper, but
You get what you pay for, I guess.
we didn't
Yeah.
have to.
You know, I use them a lot myself at work and I've never had an issue. So I'm kind of surprised to hear that, but
Maybe the wrong people showed up of their
that could be.
group of
Service
people,
people.
not the best. But they should know about this, obviously.
Did you
I can
communicate
certainly
it
let
to
them know because I
I
know the
called-
folks in the.
I called one of the numbers and left a voicemail Friday afternoon but they were already closed, so nobody really called me back on it. So,
today either?
no, not yet.
Of course, stuff always happens on a Friday afternoon.
Yeah, Friday probably wasn't the best day to start the project, I would think, maybe like a Monday or something.
Well, keep us posted.
It's done, they finished all the rest of them today, they got them all working, so now we're back at full strength, but we'll see going forward, I guess.
Any other questions then? We can keep moving to item 7, discuss and consider required number of fire inspections, which came back from last month because the village board hadn't considered it yet, which then we did. Did I read that correctly from the minutes?
Yep,
Okay.
we had talked to our lawyer about it already. He said, go ahead. You guys hadn't talked to your lawyer yet. So that's all that was hanging it up.
Mhm. Which is, now we discussed that
No, they
at
approved
the
it.
meeting. Yeah, we passed it. So then we can consider this at
Completed.
completed.
Yeah, and I guess for an update, the only municipality that we didn't do that with yet was Pleasant Springs, but we started the discussion with them too to make it so all 3 municipalities are on the same. We'll see how they respond to it, but
Did you already discuss, it, or,
we talked to the municipal clerk over there, Peely.
okay,
But they gotta obviously take it to the board and see how they want to handle it or not.
What's the change?
We were doing 2 inspections a year on every occupancy. And state code only requires 1 per year on most occupancies. There's a few that's like an exception, like senior centers and some of the schools. So we asked to move down to 1 because there's so many inspections. We just kind of try to cut the workload a little bit. So,
and the motion was, I thought, for up to 15 months.
yeah, you have to do them within, like, once you do one, you have to do it again within 15 months of the last inspection. So, but we'll just release them all in the beginning of the year and get them all done before the end of the year is what we plan on doing.
So we don't need to take any further action at this
No,
level.
we need to have a motion and approval yet, though, right?
It was already approved by both boards.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
pending the results of
Okay,
what
so,
the attorney said, so,
I think it's just an agenda item. You can.
yeah, so.
okay,
So no action needed. All right. Any other questions on that before we move on? Okay, then we can continue to item 8, discuss and consider lighting on flagpole.
So this was something Chris Hampton brought up before he left. There was the lights, there's 2 lights on top of the fire station that shine up for the flagpole. And he talked about getting a solar light for the top of the flagpole. Because one of those lights had burned out. But I just bought new light bulbs and bypassed the ballasts that were in there and turned them into LEDs so they'll last longer, use less energy, and it's fixed. So I don't think we really have to do anything with it. It's another agenda item. We just,
And you can deal with those. You
Yeah.
can't deal with the one on top of the flagpole
right,
very
it's a lot
easily.
easier to work on the ones on
Yeah.
top of the roof than the on top of the flagpole.
You have to get, yeah,
So, and they were like $14 a bulb. So it wasn't really a big expense or anything. So,
I think we can afford that.
Yeah, going with the LED, then they last longer, so.
Yeah.
Won't have to go up there as much. All right, any other questions on that item? All right, then keep going with item 9, discuss and consider next meeting date and agenda items. So our,
the problem is that that's Labor Day weekend,
Memorial Day.
or Memorial Day weekend. So I don't know if we want to move it to Wednesday, the 28th.
Wednesday, the 28th.
Not Tuesday. What's,
I got a colonoscopy
no,
Tuesday.
oh, right.
He'll be better by the end of the day.
That's what they told me after I had the last one, so I don't want to even think about having another one.
Right, because if we push it earlier or later, then we run into the other boards meetings.
Correct.
Yeah, because that's the landfill committee month. So we've already scheduled the landfill committee meeting for 6 o'clock on that Tuesday, the 27th. If that works for everybody.
Unless they find something wrong.
Okay,
So then we could
Do it on the 27th is fine.
fire at 6:30 on Tuesday, the 27th, in landfill. The both of us will be here for
Yep,
that at
we'll
6:30.
do landfill at 6, fire at 6:30 and
On Tuesday.
on Tuesday.
The 27th. Okay, and does anyone have any particular agenda items for that agenda?
I'd say the usual stuff for now.
I don't
If
know.
anything comes up. Traditionally, part of the duties of the town chairman was to ride herd over the general building condition over there, so Chris Hampton used to get calls about the furnace doesn't work, the dishwasher broke,
Air
this,
conditioner
that, or
doesn't
the,
work.
what's that?
Air conditioner doesn't work.
Yeah, exactly, so, at this particular point in time, I don't anticipate anything out of the usual stuff, but who knows between now and then, and if there's enough time, if if you find out something is wrong, Chris would always try and get quotes to, excuse me, to get ready, for the meeting. But the only exception to that is for furnace work, repairs, not replacements. High Tech Heating's been the low bidder and been doing all the maintenance over there. So if a furnace goes out, we just call High Tech and have them come over, because all the furnaces have been replaced with theirs anyway throughout the years. So I will continue to do that. I'll just, stuff that needs some immediate attention, we'll just call the repair people in and we'll deal with it come the meeting time, and we'll figure out where we're gonna get the money from, or if it's something odd or
And
whatever. So
On that note, the ESB fund has been lowered considerably, down to about $69,000. Because we paid for the doors and,
for the operators, you mean?
yeah,
Okay.
so, just so everyone's aware of that.
So I know it seems early to talk about budget things, but I don't know what we need to do to, of course, there's unexpected costs with the building, but then there's costs that we should plan for. So I'm not sure if the next agenda probably isn't the right time to do that, but some other
We
future.
were waiting, actually, at one of the previous meetings, the chief had suggested that he would like to get a 5-year plan together, similar to what EMS has. So, and that we left that up to him at that point, so I don't know what the status is.
We're waiting. So we just went through an ISO audit. For those that aren't familiar, that's the Insurance Services Office. What they do is they come in and evaluate the fire department. They give you a rating, and that's what determines insurance rates in your municipality. So both municipalities the fire department was audited, which means that they look at, the village gets a rating, the town gets a rating, and Pleasant Springs gets a rating based off of what we do. So we just completed that. We're waiting for those results to come back, because they're gonna be the ones that say, like, you need another fire station because you're too far away from parts of your territory. So that's like the first step doesn't cost anything, but will give you some answers to some of the questions that you have. So once that came back, then we'd kind of take that results and put together something, and, it might need to be another study. I know we did one for the PAA study a few years ago, but nobody really looked at the building itself and what was needed for future growth of the building. Is that building the end all be all? We'll probably need another one at some point, because as the growth moves further north, it's gonna get farther and farther away. And, one of the ratings is, like I said, how far parts of the district are from the fire station. So start with that ISO audit. When that comes back, then we'll start kind of putting some stuff together.
Yeah, whenever that comes back, then that makes sense to put that item on the agenda for.
So
And then the other thing, just so the roof is original on that building, and it's 25 years old. So
So
at some point in time,
we're gonna need to replace that, like within the next couple of years, I would think.
Have there been leaks? in the
oh
roof?
yeah,
Yeah,
It's been patched, obviously.
nothing
Patch will
horrible
be as good
yet.
as replacing the roof.
I mean, it's,
but it's a flat roof
I know.
again.
yeah, nothing serious yet. It's been just minor leaks here and there, but I think before the last meeting, we had an updated quote for the roof, which right now I think it was just shy of 200,000 to do the whole roof. So
that would be another, good thing to, because before we know it, the budget cycle will be going, our departments at the village will be starting to prepare things. So I just want to try and get ahead of that so we can make sure to put items in there.
yeah,
We can always meet and talk,
Yeah, Cameron just reached out to me about a week ago asking us to update the capital budgets. So I do the fire one, and then I usually do the ESB one, and I usually ask Chief Lang if he's got any recommendations while we do that, so. All right.
The roof is not a critical thing that has to be done immediately,
right.
can be done when it's needed.
Right.
I'm interested
It's
in
a lot of
the-
money.
Yeah, I'm interested in the capital budget, like what the plans are, just like you said, but you have to wait till the ISO comes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we are operating off of a capital budget we already had in place for most of the fire department stuff, but we didn't really have much put together for the facility yet, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, does anyone have any other agenda items? Otherwise, we'll have one final item.
Move we adjourn.
And I'll second. All those non-debatable, all those in favor say aye.
All right.
Aye.
That too.
Thanks so much.